Hello friends, today we are going to present SIP mobility. For this we need two subnets. Subnets are basically a part of network, and the subnets we are using is 192.168.0.0/16. This is also called CIDR 16, and another network is 192.16.0.0 CIDR 16 again. And both these subnets should be accessible to each other. That means if we want to ping from one network to another network, we should be able to ping that in another network. And for this we need a gateway. Gateway is basically we are using a Linux system and we are creating static routes. I want to tell you that there are three kinds of routes: dynamic routes, static routes, and directly connected routes. Generally on Cisco routers, because Cisco routers are most probably used. So here we are using static routes. What routes we are creating? We are creating entries if some packets comes to interface ETH0, that is basically Ethernet, and that should be routed to WLAN 0, that is a wireless interface. And if another packet comes to wireless interface, it should be routed to Ethernet interface, that is ETH0. And this is how we are making both the subnets pingable to each other. That means we can reach from one network to another network. And now let's move to the architecture we are following for our project. This is the basic architecture. What we are doing, we are using two Netgear access points, router cum access points, access point 1, access point 2. Access point 1 is basically to provide connectivity to network 1, and there we are using a switch. This access point is connected to switch. Then this IMS server that is directly connected to switch using a Ethernet cable. We are giving a fixed IP to this that we have configured during the IMS IMS open source installation. And then we are using a correspondent node that will be having dynamic IP, because we are running DHCP on this router cum access point. And the another one is mobile node, is connected using wireless 802.11 technology, and we are not making fixed IP for this. And this we can move using this node from one network to another network. And the goal of our whole of this project is, if we are making a call between these two hosts, and then and the call is established following a proper flow, and if we move this host having this mobile node moves to another network, in that case also call should be connected. That means there should not be any call drop. So what happens when we goes first, here happens handoff. This is the critical region, and for this region there will be no media transfer. And how this happens? First, any node that gets registered with MS server, then they send invite message, then ringing message returned by the server, and then 200 OK acknowledgement is returned to the node, and call is established. And now the RTP media transfer gets started over UDP as a transport layer protocol. Then if we move with this mobile node to this network, first here we detect handoff. Handoff means there will be detection of RSSI level, signal strength level, from both the access points, access point 1 and access point 2. And how we get connected in wireless is, whenever we go to an area, we are receiving signal strength from multiple access points. But what our NIC card does, it receives signal strength, and every manufacturer has defined its levels. Suppose Cisco has 128 levels and another Netgear has 110 levels, and these signal strengths are mapped to these levels. These levels are called RSSI level, that stands for relative signal strength indicator. And based on this RSSI level, we get connected to access points. And by default, our Linux systems gets connected to an access point that provides maximum RSSI level. But the problem is, if we are in a range of 2 access points, and here we also in range of both the access points, but when node was here, we get connected to access point 1 because of maximum RSSI level available. But still when we move here, we are in the range on access point 1, so we will be getting connected to access point 1. But here access point 2 will provide better RSSI level, so why not to connect access point 2? So here we use a handoff script that will match RSSI level we are receiving from both the access point, and it will get detect RSSI from access point 2. If it's higher in this region, obviously, then we will get to access point 2. Since it is also running DHCP, So we'll get a new IP address in this network, suppose say 192.16.11.79. Then we move to there, then we again sends a re-invite. That re-invite goes to first gateway, since it will be receiving on wireless interface. By the routes we have created, it will be routed to the Ethernet interface 80 and to the IMS server to node. Then again that call, basically what is a re-invite? Re-invite, whenever we say that we are using SIP as a signaling protocol, we send some invite, then 200 OK, and a dialog is established. So when we or existing that dialog, we are sending invite again, that is called re-invite. Both in basic sense, invite and re-invite are same thing, but for fresh dialog establishment we send invite, and for sending invite or existing dialog, that is re-invite. Re-invite basically tells what if somebody is joining in call, or we are changing the format, the coding techniques we are using for the data. In that case also we use re-invite. We are moving across networks, in that case we send re-invite. So we'll send a re-invite and call, the same call gets continue. This is how the connectivity works. And when this mobile node comes back again, the same procedure happens again. Handoff occurs in this region, and we get connected to, we get a new IP address from DHCP running on this router, say access point, and then re-notation done, and another correspondent nodes get that we are back in call, and call starts again.
We saw the theoretical part of our setup. Now we'll see the practical implementation. So this is our IMS server. We have OpenIMS core software here. As you could see, users who have been registered with the IMS server. So when we click on search, all the users' names have been displayed here: Alice, Bob, Amrita, Akansha. Now we are going to show the demo with two clients. One client is Harshad and the other client is Padmaraj. Now let's move on to our access points. This is one of the access point. This is a home network's access point, which is 192.168.1. network, and this is 16. network. So these are our two access points. This is our correspondent node. The correspondent node's name is Padmaraj. So if you could see, the software which is used here is UCT IMS client, and as you could see, these are our conversations that happen when we do the registration. Padmaraj has been registered with the IMS server. This is the gateway. So this gateway is used to connect the home network as well as the visited network. Home network is 168 and visited network is 161. So this is a gateway. As you could see, we have two interfaces. One interface is connected to 168 network. Another interface, which is wireless, is connected to 16 network. Mobile node's name is Harshad. As you could see, he has been registered with the IMS server, Group 5 IMS Lab 12.in. Here again, we are using UCT IMS client software. Now let's see how the call setup happens between the Padmaraj and Harshad. Padmaraj is making the call. The address is SIP Harshad at Group 7 IMS Lab 12.in. So this is the destination's address, and I'm making a call. So we are receiving a call now. I have put my speaker down, so Harshad's speaker is on. So you could hear me talking in Harshad's laptop. So now I'll increase the volume of Padmaraj system. So we are able to hear. Yeah. So successfully call has been established. Okay. Now the mobile node, which is the Harshad system, is going to move into a different network, which is 192.168.16, and the router name is router 2. So he has been moved to that network. And still, if you could see, SIP mobility has been achieved successfully because the call is still on, that is, the session has been carried. Has not been dropped into a different network.
I am Harshad.
Yes, we could hear the call. So this way we have successfully achieved SIP mobility. Thus, SIP mobility has been successfully achieved because we saw when there was a handoff from one network to another network, the delay was just around 2 to 3 seconds and then the call was established. Thus, the session was maintained during the call using SIP. Thank you.